Hey guys, it's Alyssa here, and today I shall be doing a massive book unhaul. I can't remember the last time I've done an unhaul books on a pretty regular basis. Lately I've been lucky and have been reading and enjoying a lot of my books. It's crazy what happens when you start buying books that you genuinely think you're going to be interested in. A pretty decent stack here, maybe 20 books. Some of these I've read, some of these I haven't. Some of these I bought and then changed my mind about, so let's just get right into it. The first two books are by the same author, and that is The Girl Who Chased the Moon and Garden Spells, both by Sarah Addison Allen. I read The Peach Keeper by her a couple years ago. I think it's like right here on my shelf actually, but I just don't think now I would be interested in these books. They're like fabulism / magical realism, and I just don't think that I'm really interested in that anymore. A big thing that I've been really into in regards to keeping books is like, do I look at it and does it make me happy? It's like part of that whole Marie Kondo does it spark joy thing, except much less intense than her like full-on methods. Mine are just like a general like, does it make me happy looking at it? Do I get excited thinking about reading it? If I don't, then it's time to get rid of it. The next two are also by the same author, and that is Othello and Richard III, both by William Shakespeare. These are the No Fear Shakespeare editions. I have had these for so long and I have not read them. I tried reading Othello and it just, I don't know if I'm into the Shakespeare tragedies. I love the comedies, but the tragedies I just don't think are my jam. I don't know. I would still like to read Hamlet because it's like, you know, really popular, but these kind of, I mean, Othello is really well known, but like Richard III, like no one really talks about. I'm just gonna unhaul. The next book is a sequel to a book I read when I was like 12, and that is Romeo Blue by Phoebe Stone. I really enjoyed the first one. I'm just not gonna reread it because it was great when I was like 12, but I'm not gonna reread the first one to be able to reread this. The next book is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I don't even know why I bought this. It was just a very, one of my last, I like to think, few spur of the moment decisions. This was not a good decision to buy this. I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it. I don't read YA contemporaries. The next book is The Gallery by Laura Marks Fitzgerald. I tried reading this and it was really weird, really boring, and just the dialogue in it was, it takes place during I think like the 20s or something, and it just, the dialogue in it was a little too like lame. Is the first four books in the Amelia Peabody series by Elizabeth Peters. Let me adjust this angle. I decided to DNF this series and I'm not gonna keep these because I'm not gonna reread them. The next book is my most recent like DNF, and that is The Princess and the Pearl by Edie Baker. Previous book to one of those other books was The Romeo and Juliet Code by Phoebe Stone. This is the first book to Romeo Blue, I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna unhaul this because again, I'm not gonna reread it ever, and some kid who's like 8, 10, 12 can read it and enjoy it. The next book is actually a duplicate copy, and that is Seizure by Kathy Reichs and later added Brendan Reichs. This is the original series hardcover covers, and I own the new reissued ones that look much better, and there's just no like way to keep this on my shelf and have it look good. The next book is The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. I don't know how you pronounce that. This is one of the oldest books that I've owned, especially since I started BookTube. Okay, so I am unhauling this because I did enjoy it at the time, but since then I have heard some things that it might be problematic. I want to say maybe potentially on like something to do with people on the autism spectrum. I'm not quite sure, but I have heard some mixed things about that, and I'm not going to keep it because I can't vouch for it. Like, I remember nothing about this book. Like, I remember the plot, but like I don't remember anything. So we're just gonna get rid of it. I know it turned into like a series. There's like a sequel and another book after that, and I'm like, really, let's not do that. The next 3 books are also in a series, and that is the Kingdom Keepers, Disney After Dark, Disney at Dawn, and Disney in Shadow. These are the first 3 books. First one is actually signed, but I recently, during rereadathon, I tried rereading this, and the writing was kind of yikes. So I'm gonna get rid of these, and some kid somewhere can really enjoy these. The next book is a book I also recently DNF'd, and that is The Frog Princess Returns by E.D. Baker. And again, some kids somewhere can enjoy it. The next book is The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery. I haven't had this book surprisingly long. I think it's been like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I haven't had it that long, but I haven't even heard bad things about this, but like I've tried reading it multiple times and I just can't get into it. It's just like my brain isn't processing the writing, and I hate that. The next book is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This was, I think, my January or February pick for my classics TBR jar, and I DNF'd it because it's too dense for my mind right now, and if I were to ever want to read it and own it and love it when my brain can handle it, I would want to rebuy it anyway because this cover is ugly. The next book is a book that I never should have bought, and that is Indiana Jones and the Sky Pirates by Martin Caidin. I just never should have bought this. I bought it, it was like 25 cents at a library book sale, and I just never should have bought it. I bought it because I love Indiana Jones, and I was like, oh my god, an Indiana Jones book, but like I don't. No. On to some more classics. The next book is The Lord of the Rings, all 3 of them, 1-volume edition by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't know, that's not how you say his name. I have had this book for years now. It's been probably like 5 years. I'm not saying I will never read this, but every time I look at this, I get extremely intimidated, and I'm sure there's someone out there that would love to have this bind up, but I would probably listen to it on audiobook, and, you know, I'm one of the very few people out there that don't really know much about Lord of the Rings. I just don't, like, I don't know much about it. Like, I think I've seen the movies, but, like, I really haven't. So if I ever decide to read this, I'll rebuy another copy. The next book is actually a book I just have a duplicate copy of, and that is Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. So I have this collection of Jane Austen books in an old, like, discontinued Borders edition, and I like them. But then I lent my Sense and Sensibility copy of that to someone, then defriended them, never brought the book back. Sadly. But then I was able to find that edition again, so I bought that. In the meantime, since I bought my replacement copy in the same edition, I bought this. That was a really long story. The next book that I have is Les Mis by Victor Hugo, or Les Miserables, whatever you want to say. This is a beautiful edition. It has like an illustration in it. I think it has illustrations throughout it. I'm just not going to read this. Real honesty, not going to read this. I love Les Mis. I might watch the new PBS show, although I don't really want to. My mom's trying to convince me to watch it. Like, I might listen to it on audiobook one day when I'm like 55, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon. On to some of my more problematic books. The first one is A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. I am shocked to see this in here. You might be shocked to see this in here because everybody loves this book. Let's talk about this. Okay, I don't hate this book. I ended up DNFing it at around 50 pages, I think. Not because it wasn't good. It was good. But and I have, like, I don't know, something crazy, like 15 friends on Goodreads that have read these, and not a single one, I'm not throwing shade, I'm just saying, not a single one put any trigger warnings for what happens in this. So if you're watching this and you were thinking about reading A Man Called Uwe, just FYI, huge trigger warnings for suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and potentially suicidal attempts. I don't know, like, I don't know what else it really goes into. I was just hit in the face. It really threw me off and was very triggering for me. Like, I haven't been triggered by content like this in probably close to a year, and then this hit me in the face. So I was really like, wow, really didn't appreciate that. The next 2 books I have read, they were old favorites. I don't consider them favorites now. First one is The Help by Catherine Stockett. It's been so long since I read this. If I wanted to consume the story again, I would watch the movie. The movie and the book are the exact same thing. The next one, which is like, not the most controversial, but the most controversial book that I own probably, and that is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I mean, come on, how could I not unhaul this? When I read this years ago, to me it was very moving, but me then and me now, we're not the same person. We are very different people. So I would not say I recommend this book in the slightest. There are so many reasons. First of all, Jay Asher himself, hello. Second of all, the show that has come out, I never even watched it. I didn't even watch, before I even had issues with things like this. Obviously, I read this before like I had any mental health issues, but the show is even more intense, and I'm not gonna go anywhere near it ever. And yeah, I just, you know, it's time to get rid of it, and maybe someone can buy it and critically read it. Let's count up how many books that is. Wow, that was 28 books that we just unhauled. Wow, that's all I got. I guess if you have any thoughts on any of these books, let me know down below. I'd love to know. And that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I shall see you in the next one. Bye.